Hello everybody, thanks for joining me today. Sorry we don't have a face-to-face. I'm having terrible allergy problems. We'll probably sneeze in your face more than once, which I'm hoping not. We have drugs on board, so hopefully the anti-allergens will do something here. But the eyes are nearly swollen shut. And well, anyway, I'm so excited about this card. I had to bring it to you, so figured you'd rather see the card than my face anyway. So let's get started. We're going to start with this story. I was born in Miami, Florida, and lived most of my teen years and adult life in Atlanta, Georgia. But the seaside was always part of our summers. My grandmother still lived in Florida, and she lived in Tampa, and we spent many weeks at the beach every year growing up. So the seaside is one of my fondest places ever, best memories. And one of the things I loved to do was collect shells. I think, shiny, colorful things all kids are attracted to them, and I never actually grew out of that. Still love shells. But in Florida, and I haven't seen them here, so I don't know if you even get them on the beaches here in the UK. But two of the most exciting things to find on the beach were starfish and sand dollars. And when you found them, they were like, oh, I can't remember how many times I run shouting down the beach, waving my treasures, to show my mom or anybody who would look, actually. So anyway, when I saw this stamp set, that was it. I felt like that kid again, and I was like, oh, look. I just got so excited. So anyway, showing it to you today, and the first of the things that I'm going to do with it. This is called Seaside Wishes. It also has which is exciting in of itself, it has an embossing folder. And it is what's called a hybrid. So inside the embossing folder, I've got it pulled out already. I'll show you though. So you can cut out the pieces. So basically what I have here are sand dollars. Look at these. Are these not amazing? So anyway, and the very vanilla makes them look, I don't know. I just get so excited. Anyway, that's what we're doing. This is the card I'm going to make. I wanted to make something really super special. So since you guys know I love fun folds, I thought I'll have to find a fun fold to do it. So this is what I came up with. This, I don't know if this has a name. I think somebody out there called it a swing fold, but there have been so many out there in so many shapes. And I thought, I'm just going to do this one on my own. So this is what we're going to do today, is we're going to make this card. So we'll set this aside and get going. Now, we'll start with a card base. In this case, I have used crumb cake, which makes me think of the sand. That's the purpose. And this is just your basic half sheet card base. So we've got 14.85 here and 21 across the top, and these are in centimeters. And if you're joining me doing this in imperial, oh, excuse me, see, I told you, I hope I didn't do that in the microphone. We've got 8.5 by 5.5. So we're going to make our first score line is right down the middle, which is going to be 10.5. If you're, it's going to be 10.5 centimeters. Yep, we got it. And then if you are doing in imperial, down the center is, was it 4.25? 4.25, yep. Now we're going to make another fold line. So if you just slide this in your folder or your cutter, the first score line, which is going to be half, see? And this is how you can make this card, by the way. There is nothing particularly weird about this. If you make a card base this way or you make one the other way, you basically fold it in half and then back on itself in half again. And that's your dimensions. So whatever you're working in, be it metric or imperial, that's all we've done here. We've done it. It's really incredibly easy. So I thought, oh, I wonder how I can figure out how to do that. Then I just sort of, when I made my first score line, I went, oh, well, that's obvious. So anyway, this, if you want to make one, you don't even have to use my measurements. You just cut what you want. You cut your half a sheet, fold it in half, and then in half again. But I'll go over these again if you are using my measurements. So if you're using, because my brain is also muddled that too. So we're starting at 21 inches by 4.85. First cut in is first score is 5.25. Second score is 10.5. If you're following along and you're working in imperial, then we've got 8.5 by 5.5. The first score number in is going to be 2 1/8, and then you do halfway in at 4.5, and that's our card base. Easy, easy. Now, I don't normally do what I'm going to do right now, but it's important to show you. This is so easy, but until you see it done, you're probably going to go, what? So this is my cutting plate here. So I have the amazing Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is a full-size one. If you're using the skinny card, you might get it fit in a mini. Nah, it probably won't fit in a mini. You lay your card base down like this, flat. Now we are going to use this as our shape right here. You can use any shape. You can do this with a circle or a rectangle or a triangle. Pretty much any shape die you have, you can do this. You can even do like the animal shaped ones, so that when it's folded this way, the animal shape pops out. So like I said, easy peasy. So take this and run with it, guys. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to go slightly higher than halfway on my card, and I'm going to line my object up that we're cutting with the score line. So that score line is in the dead center. So I want this to be like that. Slightly high, but not. That looks pretty good. All right, now I prefer to tape it down. If you're really good, you don't have to tape it down, but I highly recommend taping it down. Now, here's where the magic comes in. When we feed this through the machine, we are only going to feed it with this cutting plate going to this score line. So everywhere this top cutting plate is where it's going to cut. If the cutting plate is not on this, it will not cut, which is really cool. So let me grab this machine out. It's to get my Big Bertha out here. Oh, I love her. Let's see if we can do this without smacking the camera. Or deafening you. We could deaf you. Make you deaf. All right. Now, so can I do it this way? I think I'll do it this way so you can see it a little bit better. Because it doesn't really matter. You just want to get your hands on that, and you're going to be holding this tight. I think I could do it this way. I've not tried. Well, let's see how it goes, folks. You see, it just runs free because the cutting plate's not on there. So let's push this all the way until it catches right there, holding this tight, and then we crank. Come on, we crank. And I'm putting my glue bottle. No, we have to do it the other way. Got to be able to get some leverage on it. Okay, well, yeah, now we know. So we feed that plate through like this. And as you can see, it's a handful to hang on to. But once you've done this once, it really does become much easier. All right, so we're going to push this through. Make sure my plate is all the way over. I'm hoping you guys can still see that score line. You can come slightly over that score line, but you don't want to go much. And push. I'm still holding onto this plate. There we go. There's a cracking sound we all hate. But that's how we know it's working. Okay, now if I had put the plate on here correctly, it would have worked perfectly. Since I didn't put the plate on here correctly. And hopefully, all you guys watching this at home is going, ah, I saw what you did. It should have been turned over this way. See, now we have a really lovely impression. But that's not what we wanted. We wanted it to cut. And see, this is why when I craft and I'm trying to create something, I don't talk. I only talk to you guys. Because otherwise, well, I'm just too easily distracted. Okay, and then, you know, like the last video, I guess I feel like my mother. Just do what I say and not as I do. Okay, now we have the cutting plate done properly. See, that lights, we have a nice little cut on our thing here. Everything is positioned correctly now. And, you know, if it's not, we'll just do it again. Okay, let's see. Get that plate in there lined up. All right. Now let's push. Go on. Does not wish to stay lined up. There we go. All right. I am holding my breath here. Yay! It did it correctly that time. Okie dokie. Let's move that off. And now we have our cut. Oh, it wasn't quite over far enough. All right. It wasn't on the line, so when this happens to you, well, yeah, and I'll show you. Let's get this other stuff out of the way here. We don't need all of this anymore. Oops. All right, so should this happen to you, you just need to get a really sharp pair of scissors and clip it just to the fold. It's much easier to make this tiny clip than it is to go back and try to refold. All right, now we go. We're laid down perfectly. And of course it did something odd there. Now yours, if you do it correctly and not the way I did it, yours will not have this little shadow bit here, but I can say the shadow bit bothers me. All right, and now, I mean, that's it. That's basically it. Your card is most of the way done. So I do want to show you that. So I'll leave that out aside. And let's do this. And I just realized we need a little more light. Is that better? Oh, maybe more. I was filming, it's so bright this morning, and all of a sudden it just got really dull. So anyway, here we go. That's much better. Good. Excuse me. I know we're going to decorate. Now, what I was talking to you about, if you haven't seen one of these before, this is an embossing folder that's called Hybrid. And I love these. We had one last year that were citrus and citrus slices. It was a really pretty one. So to make this, you can just run it through like this, and you get a really beautiful background. Or you can cut your pieces out by popping these in here. Now, this is going to be, it's going to feel backwards to you. You can see there's the Stampin' Up. You're going to turn it this way with this up. You're going to push it on and you're going to match it up. And I slide it around until I hear it snap. Okay, that's it. The snap was really faint that time. But see, now I'm trying to move it and I can't move it around. And then you put your paper in and you close it down. And then just use your regular sandwich for an embossing folder to run through. And that's how you get these. And it yields these lovely pieces. Put them out here so you can see them on a darker surface. So you get the three, the large, the medium, and the small. And that's what that embossing folder does. And like I said, I really do. I like these. I love having the very, very tactile. The texture is just wonderful. So anyway, and actually you can use both sides. I've not tried this with any ink yet, but I do want to give this a go. So maybe I'll do that in another video. But like I said, I haven't tried it with ink, so I want to. All right, so the next piece we're going to need is I cut a piece of designer series paper for the backing here, because I thought this just is so ocean looking. And indeed, this is the new Summer Splash. And this was taken from the, what do you call it? Unbound Beauty Designer Series paper set. So, in fact, the other half of this looks like this. Quite a bit different, especially when you consider we're using this for our sort of oceany looking background. So anyway, we can affix this down. We don't need, actually, I can use a bit of glue. Come on. Okay. All nice and flat. Now our centerpiece here, we're going to use the medium-sized one. Come on. Well, you can honestly, you can use the medium or the large. I chose the medium because I liked the ring around it, but you could use the large one. The only thing is it doesn't, this shape doesn't match up as well, and it looked too uneven because this matches with the back side here. This is how it matches up. So it's best to use this center one here. Now you could pop this up on dimensionals. I didn't feel like it, I didn't think it needed it because we have a lot going on here. So I'm going to glue it down. If you were using especially any other shapes, or you can use, I'll show you in a moment, the blank ones I cut. All right, there is that one, like that. Now we cut some blank ones of these. It's all my little die cutty pieces I did for you guys. Like this, because we're going to now glue this blank one here to this side. Now you can sort of keep turning it and you'll figure out it should line up. If I can find it. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. I know this lines up. I've already done this 3 times. There we go. Nope, not quite. Is it this side? That. There we go. Perfect. Line up like that. That's why it doesn't work on the other side, because you would have to glue this one in upside down. Okay, makes sense? Now, before we glue this in, I'm going to stamp my greeting on here. Find where your upright is, because you know you're going to be gluing it in there. Take and make a little tiny pencil mark, if I can find my little tiny pencil. Or you can use a regular pencil and make a tiny mark. Yep. So here is my halfway here. And there is my halfway there. And now I have something that's going to help me judge, because I know that's going to be lined up straight up and down. So I wanted to use Calypso Coral because my colors here are Calypso Coral Summer Splash and TBGB. Why can't I say that? That's going to drive me nuts. And I need my stamp. Calypso Coral. That's what I'm trying to say. Calypso Coral Summer Splash and Crumb Cake. Now, I used my sentiment. Sometimes the simplest things mean the most. So you're going to fit on there? Yeah, look at that. Now, I've had a little tiny bit of issue with this ink pad. It is like gagged me with so much ink in it. And I've had this over a year now. It is still powerful with ink. Let me make sure I got this right. Yep, see, I picked it up and I've got it out wrong. See, I learned from the last video, when you pick things up, make sure you put them back down in the correct orientation. All right, now let's see if we can give that. Ah, see? Didn't get quite enough in there. Wonder if I can, am I brave enough to do this? Nah. No, that's all right. I think I will leave it so I don't bore you guys to tears. What I probably should have done was cut 2 or 3 of these when I was cutting them. That's the safest thing to do when you're stamping. So if you make a mistake stamping, which I invariably do. But anyway, we're just going to stick this in and I will undo it later. What I'll do is I will make a not permanent stick down. Do you guys know how to do this? Make this not permanent stick? Ah, that's not the way. All right, so I'm going to put this in here, smash it down with the glue, pull it back up, and we're going to let that dry, both sides dry. Now for this, it's okay, it's going to get covered up, but it's just annoying when you drop something down. Okay, we'll come back to that. But I can show you on our finished card. I can figure out what I did with our finished card. There we go. So on our finished card, let's work on this portion down here, because we'll come back and do this sticky after these have dried. So I'll leave this up here. I stamped the starfish stamp onto this beautiful coral cardstock, and I used the coral colored ink because I wanted them to sort of be, I don't know, like a darker version. See, let's try it. I've tried several different ones. This is part of the die cuts that you get in the kit, and it is cut out in Summer Splash, like that. All right, so now I'm going to do a little more stamping. Fortunately, my crumb cake stamping pad has a good amount of ink with a good amount of other stuff. The first thing I stamped was dots, because I wanted some texture here and I wanted to have the feel of sand. So let's use a small one. Oh, so sorry. Yep, and this is taking medicine. Can you imagine how bad I was last night? Okay, so dot, dot. The best thing to do with this is not get too precious about it. Some you want to smash down harder than others. Some you just want to go light. Be careful stamping on that edge though. And also be careful. Oh, okay. My chamois stuck. Have ink on the edges of your thing. Be really careful to not get your hands in it. It's too easy to do. Is that enough dots, you think? I think maybe one more. There we go. Okay, dots done. Now we're going to stamp some rocks. Now this is a distinctive stamp, which means it has light and dark already built into it. These do not do as well with super saturated ink pads. Sort of keep that in mind. So you want to just lightly ink that thing, barely touch it in. So sort of going for the let's go this way. I don't know if you can see, I'm just sort of flipping the stamp around. Oh, I'm not doing well, guys. Maybe I'll just stop this and start over. It doesn't help that I feel like somebody ran over me with a truck. Well, I say turn that little boo-boo into something more interesting than a boo-boo. That's the nice thing about what I call random stamping. Now, you get 3 sets of stone clusters in here. One has quite a few in it, so it's more, it looks more like part of a little wall, although it doesn't have to be, I suppose. Another one now. Let's do one coming up from the bottom here. There we go. And do the same thing here. Try to camouflage our goof up. Yeah, that's better. All right, so anyway, a little bit of fun on the bottom. It just adds some dimension and some texture to this front piece. Now, you could obviously do designer series paper here. A lot of the examples that I saw did this with the designer series paper. It's very, very nice looking. Now, the next thing we're going to do is adhere our pieces. Now, what I did, because I like sort of having the overlapness here, is I put the glue on. And I left a little space. And I will go back and put more glue on it. So line up about where you want it. Like that. Grab your starfish. You want to leave one of the arms. Leave him without. I experimented with putting this on dimensionals and found it, the pieces are so small that they didn't pop up well. Now I'm actually going to put this underneath, one of the legs underneath, the other leg on top, like that, so that it's a bit layered. And we're going to go back with our glue and pop some underneath here. Like that. Now let's put some glue on the pieces for the other side here. Now I like to use my tweezers, so I have such incredibly dry fingers I can't seem to pick things up. There. Yeah, like that. Let's do another piece. Put some glue here. Now, to be honest, seaweed is really not all this pretty, but these are pretty seaweeds. And we deserve pretty seaweeds. And now another little starfish. That's going to squish out. Let's put you down here, so let's get a little happy guy down there. Put that down a second. Now we're going to build the piece on this side. Let's set this back and out of the way. So we're going to get our large piece back in here. And we know it's going to go about the center, but it's going to need to come in a bit. So hold your piece down here like that and sort of slide them around until you can that looks pretty good. And I'm going to kind of visually mark that. I've got these two pieces like this. Again, you could use dimensionals here, but I tried it, it did not fold flat. And while it's fine that it doesn't fold flat here, after writing in an envelope for a while, you want it to be able to fold flat. So, And I did get quite a bit of glue on there because there's almost an edge here. And you really want this wobbly thing to you like that. And we're going to hold this like that. And we're going to push it down like this. Now I'm going to pull up the edge here so we can tuck these other bits underneath. So we've got your glue, so your glue's going to stay there. Oh dear, I seem to have lost a piece of coral. I cut the coral, but it seems to have run away. Of course it did. This is how my day is going. All right, well, there should be a piece of coral cut to go in here. And the coral pieces, okay, what I'm calling coral pieces, they're not actually. The coral pieces are these. And I cut this larger one to go here, and I used this paper. Now, what this actually is the back side of, oh, I don't have one to show you. It's the back side of these guys. And if you turn this around, you'll find that it will line up. And it will fit right in those edges. Oh, come here. Remember I showed you these edges? This actually will line up and fit right inside those ledges on the other side. So if you wanted to do something, because this is what the bottom of a starfish looks like. I mean, a sand dollar looks like. So if you wanted to do something that dangled or like maybe made a little mobile, which I'm actually considering doing, that's what this is for. But it also doubles as a really cool looking piece of coral, which I've lost. It's here somewhere. Eventually I'll find it, but you can see it on here. That bright of on a little smattering of orange here looks really nice. So then what I did, I'll put that back. You know it'll show up, right? As soon as I turn the camera off. Anyway, I'll just show you how I did the other one. So let's glue the next piece in. I only put glue on half of this because you actually want it to show down here. And we'll put this here, like that. Just make sure that's gonna show how much. Yeah, that'll be perfect right there like that. There. Then you tuck your coral piece in there, and then we make the bow. And I've been asked twice how to do this now, and it's really easy, and it's really kind of fun. So what this is this is several loops of regular linen thread, and you just do it around your fingers. Let's see, I like them to go one on each side, so let's have the side sticking out the top and sticking out the top. Oh yeah. All right, so here's our loopy bow piece. Set that down. And take and cut a piece of, this is the Summer Splash 3/8 of an inch border ribbon. Start by cutting one corner sideways like that and start pulling her apart. And once you get it turned, you just reach in there and start grabbing your strips. So Look at that. That's how you make these awesome fluffies. I'd wished I had a piece of coral ribbon this color. I did try the peach, and it didn't quite look right. It was too, I don't know, it wasn't corally enough. Now I saw this, I've never seen anybody actually do this. I just figured out how to do it on my own. But I have seen some bows that have these fluffy bits in it. Yeah, this is not working out to be my day, folks. I'm so sorry. You would have guessed I practiced this so I could show it to you. Now, you can stop here. You can go crazy. You can get them all out of here if you want. Just keep pulling it and shredding it. There's a couple more. Get those. There we go. There is this. Set that down. And now I think I'm going to use a separate piece that might work better. Get your linen thread. Also try to figure out a way to use this because that looks really cool too. But that's just me being weird. Oh, by the way, if you guys don't do this, whenever you have the linen thread or the anything on these little rolls, just take your scissors and cut into the top, and then that way you can hook it off like that, and it keeps it from coming undone all over the place. All right, let's just pick all this up, put one across. There we go. Come on. All right, this is a nice overhand knot. And then pull it out and twist your loops. So it's all woggly and fun. And what I did was I actually gave it a bit of a haircut. I just held it up and sort of cut little individual ones off because I didn't want it to be like weird and hunky, and but anything that went down way too long. Yeah, see, you're too long. And there you have a bow with fluffy bits in it. And then when I find my final thing here, I will affix this here. And then we have our card. And as you can see, when it's closed up, it looks quite nice. Before I mail it, what I'll do is I'll probably pull these so they sit on top like this, and that'll help hold the card closed. That's what I did when I photographed it, that, and I hit it one more time with the bone folder. But also I used these lovely iridescent pearls. I thought they were so pretty. They almost look like water bubbles. I thought they were gorgeous. The other thing that would be good is if you have the flat back pearls, the ones that are sort of funky shapes, that would be awesome in this. So let's put some pearls on here just to give it a bit of finish. Yuck. Oh dear. Pearl loose. All right, see, easy peasy. Just put them down in threes. So I did 3 on this side. Come on. When they're tiny like this, you do have to be careful and not pull them off of their glue dot, because then you're done. They lose themselves. All right, and I will let this go. And so you guys have the idea now. And that's how we do this special fold card. And like I said, anything. You can literally put any shape onto here and do this. Cut it halfway so it comes around. So anyway, this is my version of Seaside Wishes. Sorry about the losing pieces. That's really disconcerting, but I'll go back, I'll recut that, I'll stamp it so it looks pretty so I can send it out to somebody and a special person. So I hope you guys enjoyed this today. Sorry for all the sniffing and the sneezing. We have breathing allergy warnings out here in the UK. We're having such a bad, I don't know, it's not a storm, but it is supposed to rain today, speaking of storms. However, it's not raining yet, and it's the pollen count's just really horrible. And I think anybody that's even not somebody that's suffering normally for hay fever is getting hit with this because it's really unpleasant. So anyway, enough of that, enough complaining. I'm going to sit here and cut another one of these and make a pretty one here for the thing. It's just really important that you cut something exactly the same size because you need to stiffen this piece so you can't even see the fold. So once you get that stiffened, it will fold right and lay down for you. So this is it. Sometimes the simplest things means the most. And I'm very happy you guys joined me today. Again, apologies for the sniffing and the sneezing. But I did want to share this with you because this is part of my childhood memories. And I can't wait to send this out to somebody because it's going to, I don't know, just means a lot. Anyway, have a lovely weekend and a happy crafty day. Thanks.